And they were obviously also doing what you call career advice, and they were speaking about opportunities they have within this corporate. That was okay, great. In fact, they sowed the seed for me to want to go to university. Before then, I had never had a conversation with my parents of what's going to happen post matriculation. So I then that evening started that conversation where I said, so I want to go to university. What is the plan? How do I do this? And then, what should I do? How do I go about it? And I then got to varsity and was studying. And in my third year, I had a second encounter with Unilever. When they say in life that there are no coincidences in life. In life, it's actually your path, like kind of like calls you. And I really realized at that time that it was not coincidental that I'm meeting Unilever again. It was, something that I needed to pay attention to. So one of those defining moments for me. And I sat down for an interview at university. When I sat down for that interview, I got offered a job within about a week after that interview at Unilever, which I accepted. I was very excited about. So I had my job offer before I sat down for my third year microbiology and biochemistry degree. And the rest was then history. I worked for Unilever for a year in the laboratory. And then I realized it just doesn't gel with who I am. It's not jiving with my soul. It's not jiving with the personality, the values. I mean, I wasn't a natural in the laboratory. I wanted to be in a space where I connect with people, I communicate. So communication was my strength. And personality was out there and bubbly, and laboratory was like closed up, inward, can't come into the lab. Don't bring your, things that will infect my specimens and the test, quality control test. Wow. It just was not working. And I felt boxed. And exactly. And then at that time, I had a one-on-one conversation with my direct report, a manager. And I literally said to him, how long have you been a manager? And he said 15 years. And then my supervisor had been a supervisor for 10 years. And I said to him, my contract and my agreement with Unilever was that this is a 2-year management trainee role. So if I'm already in my first year and you've been here for 15 years, it goes to show that I might not make management within 2 years. So what is the plan? Because I'm not going to wait for 15 years or 10 years to be a manager. At that point, he literally just said, I'm escalating this to the CEO of Unifoods. And then I had an interview the following Monday with the CEO, because he literally said, this graduate does not want to be stuck in this laboratory role forever. And I don't know what should be the plan going forward. So you need to kind of figure it out. If she'll either going to get me fired or kill me just to get this management role. That's how determined she is. And that's how I transitioned to the sales, trade and marketing and sales role, which eventually transitioned to a marketing role, which we'll talk about eventually when you go through the interview. Yeah. So the takeouts for me, I guess, for your audience, and I guess for the young people who want to shape their careers, is that you've got to know who you are, and also know what you want. And then also then realize that it all is within your capacity and your control to navigate and direct your life. You can't sit back and hope that they'll give it to you. You've got to go and get it for yourself. That's the key takeout from that.
Take what's yours.
Take what's yours. Grab it. Grab it. Yeah.
You're reminding me now when you talk about how what you're studying does not have to define you. I remember there was somebody that said that they studied a science-related degree as well. Yeah. And they started a business, a modeling agency business or something like that. And he said that it is not, I did not necessarily go to study being a scientist. I did not study science to become a scientist. It is just, the way of thinking. It helped me with the way of thinking. And now in my business, in what I do, I think like a scientist.
That's it.
Very interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. I love that. I love the way he puts it. Yeah.
So then, when you realize that you wanted to get into marketing, other than the, speaking to your manager and letting them know that, this is not for me.
Yeah.
What other steps did you take to equip yourself for this industry?
Okay, so what I love the most about the company I had an opportunity to work with and co-create with, and I say that because often we think when we are employed, it's about just serving the employer. It's not about serving you too or nurturing your growth and your development. So what I love about the partnership I had with Unilever, where I was exchanging my gifts, my talents, my abilities, who I am holistically, is that they in turn were investing in my growth through in-house development and training. So Unilever, what I love is that they really value practical learning. So there's many ways to learn. You can learn through getting a degree, you can learn through reading, you can learn through online courses. The education is so vast. So you can't box yourself and just say, therefore I'm not learning because I didn't go to university and get a degree in marketing. So practical learning and practical development, and so in-house training at Unilever for me was so very valuable. And it's what Vega also uses now, where you actually study and practice at the same time. And it's the most entrenched, I think, best way of learning, applied learning. So I did all my marketing development and marketing training within Unilever, where they flew in international marketing experts and marketing consultants globally to come and train us on various parts and levels of marketing. So over the years, you go through different levels and you actually almost like graduate in your marketing within the company while you are a brand manager, while you are a marketing manager. And that's how I actually got my training.
Okay, so what skills and abilities do you feel like is essential to succeed in this field?
In the marketing space, funny enough, one of the few directors that I've had, she didn't come from a marketing background. In fact, she was in the arts and culture space before, and then she worked for tourism, and then she then worked with me at Bloom Marketing. She used to constantly say to me, but I'm not creative. But I'm not creative. And I was like, no, you are creative. Every person has creativity abilities within them. It's up to you to awaken that part of you. And in marketing, it's all about the ability. Marketing is about behavioral science. It's about understanding the dynamics of your target market, understanding first your brand so well, and then the whole time you are nurturing that relationship between a brand and the consumer that you are serving. It's also about just having a good sense of what are the problems you are trying to solve. So you need to be a good and good at critical thinking and solving problems in an innovative way. So in marketing, we're about creating solutions that every day people are faced with. In marketing, we're about solving problems, so you just need that ability to say, this is the challenge. How do I then innovate and create a brand that will solve this problem in the society? And so those are some of the qualities that I think are key as a creative and as a marketing person. And then communication. Communication is important because you can't create a brand and have a brand narrative that you can't then share and tell the narrative. So marketing is all about telling the brand story ongoing in different platforms, whether it's TV, it's radio, it's print, live events. You are constantly nurturing a relationship through communication, and then that's how you are meeting people's needs, and that's how you're able to serve the market purposefully. You've frozen, Dudu. I don't know if it's, yeah, but on my side, it's good. I know there's load shedding that literally just got sprung up on us in South Africa today. So I don't know if she's going through the same. I decided to connect through my phone because, yeah, the modem just went wild. So I don't know if she will be back. I guess I can continue chatting if you guys can hear me. Please, won't you just put some hearts up or give us feedback through comments if you are able to hear from me. I see that my host is frozen on the live. Hello, Dudu. Okay, so we wait and see if she is able to come through. All right, so while she's frozen, I'll tell you about my book. I see there are hearts that are popping up. So there's some people who are able to probably hear from me. For those who've just joined us now, I have recently released an ebook that I'd love to tell you about. And if you then follow at Bloom Inside Out, the link is on that bio, and also on my own personal bio at Nox Bloom on Instagram. The book is titled Born to Bloom. I call it an alarm for dreams. I call it an awakening for most people who have not taken time to indulge or have the audacity to say yes to themselves. So I call it a dose of inspiration. I call it I think a source of hope, especially during this time with this pandemic. So if you'd like the book, that's Born to Bloom. It is at bloominsideout.co.za/Born to Bloom, and you will access the book. So my host for the live on Instagram, which I have I've now activated on Facebook, I think is going through challenges with connectivity. So I will wait and see if she does come back, and maybe I will come back and connect with you guys. So I'll wait for her on Instagram. So I was going to go on live on my page on Bloom Inside Out. If you are not, okay, she's reconnecting. I see she's reconnecting on Instagram. You're back. Shame, she's trying to get to request. I have. We're back. Okay, she wants me to go live here. Sorry, I'm trying to manage two screens here. Hey, did load shedding get the best of you or better of you?
I have a network problem. I'm so sorry about that.
It's all right.
It's just that hopefully. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming back.
Sure.
Yeah, so I hear what you're saying, and it's a very fresh perspective that you have regarding marketing and it being basically a problem solver. Do you feel like there are enough Black women in the industry?
It's an interesting one. So you said Black and you said female, right? Or did you just say females?
Absolutely.
Did you just, okay, both. So no, I don't think so. The industry, the marketing, advertising, communications industry has been very notorious in that it is very reluctant to transform. It's something that we've tabled and we continue to engage about, that this industry is predominantly white and male. It is predominantly white and male. And this carries on because you can still see the disconnect of certain brand communication with the target market. You know, you can see the disconnect where there's brands who haven't realized when you talk about influencers in South Africa, influencers are not only white. I mean, the typical example was what we saw recently, right? With a photography brand, a camera brand that suddenly launched a campaign that was only white people, right? And predominantly in that space, there were probably 2 females and mostly males. But to go back to answering you, no, there isn't a lot of Black female business owners, and I say marketing agency owners. There is, yes, there are Black females who are working in agencies that are not transformed, that are still white male owned. And even in those agencies, you'd find that the executives are not Black female, you know? So there are Black females in the industry, that's a yes, but they are not in the leadership roles, they are not in the ownership platforms as executives and directors that then can influence and ensure that brands and communication is inclusive in South Africa, which is why we're still seeing communication on TV, radio, and print that just pretends that there's a certain group of people that don't exist and that are not serving an inclusive, diverse South Africa that we want to see. And it's going to remain like that unless we inspire more females, Black females, to say, don't just work at an agency for 10 years. You've got to graduate to say, where's the gap that I can plug in, whether it's in an agency that focuses just specifically in publicity, or an agency that specifically specializes in strategy. Right now, the model for marketing agency, advertising agencies is being dismantled. It's being disrupted, in that a big model that has an end-to-end, what I call integrated services, is not stable, because of the way the market is happening, the challenges in the market. So you are finding more specializing or specialists agencies, and that presents an opportunity. It presents an opportunity for Black females to step in there and get into that space to transform the industry. And so, yeah, we need to constantly be challenging the norm that we're seeing right now, to say this cannot be the norm. It cannot be right. We need to have a representation that is female, gender, a balance that is also race balanced and representative of the country we live in. Sorry, I'm constantly getting a phone call through the live, so I hope it's not distracting the video.
No, that's
Sorry.
fine.
Yeah. Cool. So I hope I have answered you there. There's definitely a gap in the market. It's not just a gap. There's a challenge. Mm-hmm. Go for it, Dudu.
How do we break through? Let me just get that question. How do we break through the doors of marketing that are gatekept by predominantly white men, even at our agency? Really, I don't know this question. Even at our agency level, we can barely get our voices.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that a question that came through from the audience? You do?
Yes.
Okay, I hear you. I know that it's a really the struggle is real in that space, and I know the frustration is real, and then I'm going to maybe respond in a way that doesn't only speak to this industry, but where you are working in a company where your voice is not heard, where you're not valued, where you are not given a platform to speak your thoughts, your mind, and your ideas. I would go back to my experience in the corporate space, in that when you are employed, you've got to also take a full control of the strategy for your growth and your development. I used to speak of in corporate, it shouldn't be the employer strategy for you. You should also have an employee strategy of how to take yourself forward with regards to growth, right? And so that's where it starts first. Have an ownership of your career, have an ownership of your development and your growth, have that build yourself as a person. So personal development and personal growth is not dependent on your director or your executives in the agency. It's an investment, it's a self-investment where you want to nurture your greatness and begin to display it. And the best personal development that I would recommend is obviously personal branding, where you get to know yourself, but you also are very solid in who you are. And then you then go and display that, and you speak that in everything that you do, right? You display it. You first have to display it and show it that you are in that, at that level of recognition, at that level of management, and then ask for it, grab it. Don't wait and say, I'm just going to wait. I don't know when they'll promote me. No, ask for it. I think I'm in a best place right now to be in the strategy lead for this brand in the agency. I think I'm in a best position right now to give you insights that will take this brand forward by virtue of who I am, by virtue of my interests, by virtue of perhaps what my other passions are. You may be someone who loves hiking, and the agency has an account with an outdoor adventure brand. And then if they don't know this, because you are constantly bringing a different part of you to work, you're just bringing this person who's an AE. I'm just in AE. I'm just here to do administration. I'm here just to do a little bit of research. And then you don't voice and present yourself as the person who actually is an expert, because every Saturday you're hiking. Every Saturday you buy gear for hiking. So we've got to learn to bring all of us to our roles, but also to bringing all of ourselves, it's also about that personal development and growth that gives you that authenticity, that authority and qualification to voice yourself unshakably, right? And unapologetically. Yeah. And I know that I'm seeing a question that says, if there's no one that's backing you in the organization, it becomes really tough. I know. So you can find an external mentor, an external coach that can be your sponsor. So a career sponsor or doesn't only come from within the company you work for. A professional sponsor or career sponsor is someone that you value and is a leader already externally. And you would find that an external sponsor has a connection with some executives in your business where they can actually mention you, they can profile you, they can highlight how great a person you are outside of work, and even begin to shine a light towards you, but in an environment that is outside the agency. So often it's not from within the agency that you will always find someone that backs you up.
Okay. I love the fact that you consistent with saying that it is important for us to basically take what's ours, because the thing is with Black women, we've been conditioned to be so grateful for everything that we have, in such a sense of just be thankful that you have this, just be thankful that
Tata noma yini nje, tata noma yini. Yeah. Yeah.
To the point where you don't feel confident enough to ask for what you feel like you should get.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a very important message to put across.
Absolutely.
What you feel like you deserve.
Awesome.
For it, basically. Okay, so then what inspired you to start your marketing company?
Okay, that's another long story, but just thinking back, I always then say, if you see a challenge or you see a problem or you see a gap that is not being met by the company that you work for, first, you got to obviously say, I will then bring this up as an idea or suggestion to the company that I work for to make sure that we close the gap, if it's something that the company can do. But in my case, I realized that there was a disconnect between the agencies that were servicing the middle Black mass market. And it didn't matter how far and how much you pushed and you brought the insights and directed the agency that was working within the brands that I was managing. I quickly then realized it is purely because the agencies are not representative of the market. The agencies don't have a good understanding of the target market. So I, at that time, sat down with the CEO of Unifoods, which is the food division of Unilever. And I said, I'm actually inspired to start my own agency. And at that time, I didn't want to have a full-on agency. I wanted to be specialized in activations agency. So at that time, there were just no activation agencies that were so great in that space, in understanding the strategy, in understanding the insights that then generates the concepts, which will land the brand and the brand messaging well within the Black middle class. And he actually just supported me. He didn't say, oh, no, you dare not do that. He said to me, if that's what you want to do, is that what you're dreaming of, and that's what you desire, go for it. And I said, I will do it in a year's time. So everybody knew in a year's time I'm resigning and starting the agency. And I lined up then my ducks in a row, and I sat and prepared and did my research outside of work, you know, the time that you have after 5 or after 6, before 10 o'clock at night, that we usually waste watching soapies on TV. I was working on my business plan at that time. I was working on my business plan on weekends. I was preparing my pitch and exactly how I'm going to position the agency. And to that effect, because I was that prepared before resigning, when I went back a month later to pitch my concepts to the various brands at Unilever, I landed my first concept within a month of resigning. And that was my first biggest account that just cemented my agency in the market.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. So you say that you started as specializing in activations. Is it still something that you specialize in, or has it expanded in a way that you're offering more services, or you specializing
Yeah.
in something else?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, in fact, within 2 years of running the activation agency, I realized we cannot. So, if you look at the chain of how it all works, you would have a strategy agency, the agency that owns the strategy part of the brand. Usually, it's a global brand that holds that. And then you will have executional agencies locally that either the creative side of interpreting the creative design and the way it looks for that relevant market. And then you will have then the executional on the ground, whether it's outdoor, whether it's in store. So the out of home environment where you then are bringing the brand and the brand positioning to life. And then all of that, it requires that you do very well in production management, in the whole planning of the execution, meeting the launch dates, bookings, and securing the talent that is needed for that activation to go through, and then capturing the evidence and literally repurposing that evidence for YouTube or wherever else the brand wants to use it. So the entire executional activation side depended on the creative agency also finishing the artwork and the look and feel, all the elements that you need for production. At that time, it frustrated me that the delays on the creative agency side were putting pressure on my activation agency side. And then I immediately expanded by bringing freelancer creatives into my agency. And we then began to not only pitch a concept, but also design and work on the creative elements before then we can manage the production and execution of the brand, so that it was and then an end to end. We started with that within the second and the third year of the agency. And then within probably the fifth year of the agency, I was quite confident that we can actually offer the strategy side of the marketing agency as such as well. And then I started pitching marketing strategies and marketing developing strategies for different brands and companies. And since then, so Bloom Marketing is now an integrated marketing agency, from strategy to ideation, creative execution, and the marketing and the advertising side of it. And so I've enjoyed that I now have a full control of all the different elements that sees the brand growth and the brand strategy realized. So, and then 5 years ago, as we were getting into the digital space, I started also equipping my team into the digital space and training ourselves into the digital space. And now we have Bloom Infinite, which is a sister company to Bloom Marketing, and just focuses on the digital executions and the digital strategies. And what has also put us in a better space now is that a lot of our clients, we were already going through that pivoting journey towards the digital executions in marketing. And that's has seen us sustain our business activity during this time.
Okay, so that's a great story as to like how you started and just the growth that took place.
Yeah.
We have a question here by Corruptions at A. With the world shifting to digital at a rapid pace, how have you positioned yourself as an entity?
Yeah. So I've just literally answered that question, I guess, by introducing you guys to Bloom Infinite. So for the past 5 years, I just didn't launch Bloom Infinite in the market as an independent agency. And I think slowly I've begun to do that slowly, in that when we are in all our communication, you can begin to see the Bloom Infinite digital agency side. And what we've done is that we were offering our digital services to already existing clients that were in our basket of clients we are servicing. And we have not really gone out there to pitch to new clients that really need the digital services. And I think it is the time now to actually now do that. The kind of clients we've enjoyed working with throughout this lockdown have really been about developing digital brands and helping them have digital presence, be it in LinkedIn, be it in social media, be it online. We've managed to develop e-commerce stores and even pivoted our own internal brands into e-commerce platforms to continue to thrive through this time. So it's a journey and we are enjoying it, but being prepared and obviously being in it 5 years before has allowed us to not be only at a pitching level now, but we already are executing and helping a lot of our clients navigate this digital space that everybody's been thrown into the deep end of with COVID-19. Yeah.
Okay, now for our last question, I really wouldn't want to take too much of your time.
Sure.
So you've been running your business for 16 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time. What do you attribute your success?
So I attribute my success to a couple of things, or two or three. I'll first mention I've never minced my words in actually defining and sharing that my business journey, together with my personal and leadership development journey, has been a faith journey. Honestly, I don't think you can build anything that is long lasting, that is impactful, that is purpose led without faith. You got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in the one that enables you and the one that guides you. I honestly, every day seek his guidance first. I seek God's guidance first every day, every morning, by presenting my plans to him, by presenting my goals and my dreams. And then through that, I know that I'm backed not just by the physical strength. I'm backed by the spiritual strength. I'm backed by the angelic strength. You know how Maya Angelou and Oprah will say, I don't show up alone. I show up with an entire tribe of angels behind me, of ancestors behind me, of those who've walked the path behind me, that I stand on broad shoulders of that. So it is all about believing that I have what it takes and I'm capable of really realizing my dreams. And from that inner belief, I'm able to also share that with my team, who've just such an amazing and incredible team. So the second thing is what I've learned is to harness the collective power of the team that I have. So developing and delivering through people. So I attribute my success to the team I've had throughout. And yes, they have evolved and they come and they go. Some have stood the test of time and have been through the journey of 15 years, some for 10 years, some for 7 years, because I understand that it's people who build businesses, it's people who build brands, it's people relationships that actually anchors us and continues to make us the agency of choice and the service provider of choice with our customers. So relationship building, team nurturing, and teamwork, and then faith has been for me the what I will attribute my success to. And I never stop. And you will obviously, for those who know me, know I've got a hashtag which is my mentor: keep blooming, because blooming is the only evidence of life. And so what that speaks to is keep evolving, keep nurturing your growth, keep mastering your own personal growth and leadership. You can't just say I've arrived and I have nothing to learn. You gotta be a master and a student consistently in your business journey, in your life journey. Have an open mind to learning while you are mastering the areas that you're saying you are an expert in, and your own personal mastery. So development is very key for me. Continuous personal growth and leadership growth and development is very key, because we've seen leaders who would fall apart and also drag the business down because they haven't taken time to build their character and their leadership qualities. So that is very important. You may have a lot of accounts, but in tough times we get to see the character and the leadership qualities of the leader that is holding the vision, and also being able to share the vision with your team so that they can be partakers and co-creators in taking that vision forward. So those are what I attribute my success to.
Oh, that's amazing. We just have a quick question here. What local female heroes can we look up to in this industry? I'm actually quite interested to know who you look up to as well.
So it's a very tricky space. My mentor in the digital space, Lani, she is a CEO of an agency in Cape Town, Browns. And she is really amazing in that. I think the main account she holds is that Pick and Pay account, where you see that the digital platforms, the e-commerce platforms, the newsletter platforms, it's really amazing. So Lani is my go-to. I think Daihatsu is the global agency they belong to, a South African agency. She inspires me as a leader. The company inspires me in terms of how well they continue to evolve in this space. So at a look up to level, that's my mentor in Cape Town. And then locally, I see Nothando Dembe is doing very well. Nothando Dembe Communications, she's really thrived. I had an opportunity of working with her in my agency for 2 years when she just finished, she just graduated. And when she said, I am now ready to go and start my own agency, she really came with this model and a digital fit that looks to grow digital brands. She's doing incredibly well as a Black female, youth as well. So yeah, those two stand at the top of my mind in the digital space. But yeah, there's probably a lot more that are playing in it, and they're not in the in my radar.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. My theme today was Black Girls Conquering in the digital marketing space.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what you do. And we're so grateful that, that we have people like you in this industry to look up to. So
how can I forget? Oh, one more. How can I forget Lebo Lion? Lebo Lion. If you just look for her on Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn, she is killing it in the digital space. And I think she just has found a narrative and a way to service this industry as a marketing expert, but also just she's playing the digital strength, educating. She is helping brands really shine and thrive in this space. How can I forget her? She's really out there as a Black female that is killing it in this space.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sis Knox. It's been an absolute pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope, lockdown brings you more success as like the launch of the book. And congratulations on your book.
Thank you so much. And keep blooming yourself. And thanks to Digify Africa for the platform as well. We appreciate it. It is what the industry and the time like this that is looking for us to thrive in the digital era, to evolve in the digital era, and to really show up the best we can digitally. And which is why I speak of the infinite bloom power, hence Bloom Infinite. That's what technology and digital is presenting all of us in terms of driving growth. They're asking where to get the book. The book is on my website, bloominsideout.co.za. The page in the website is Born to Bloom. On my handle at Knox Bloom, you will also find the link there. At Bloom Inside Out, you will also find the link there. So it's an ebook, so it's online. And thank you so much for taking interest on the book.
Okay. Thank you.
Take care. Bye, guys. Okay, so that's it. I wasn't even sure if I am live on Facebook. I thought I was, but I might not have pressed the button go live. Anywho, cool.
Hello, sis.
Hello, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm all right. I'm just calling to apologize. I couldn't take a call. I was live on Instagram for Digify.
Yes, no, I thought so.
Digify, yeah.
No, he'll come back.
Yeah, DigifyAfrica. So I couldn't even tell my children because it would have been so unprofessional for me to speak and say, guys, open the gate. No, it was just.
No. Yeah,
so, and he was, yeah, and he was so insistent of calling. I mean, I was just thinking, I thought he would get a point. But I can't take the call. That's why I'm killing the call. Yo, so like I like the phone call, the live was being distracted. Every time I have to press decline, and then like it pauses the video on live. Oh my word. Oh, yeah. Then it's fine. It happens.
Find out what time works for you.
No. So I'm fine now. I will tell them to but also I think you can call my helper is here, so I'll send you the number when he's outside.
The number for the person who
Yeah.
can listen in because
Yeah.
he's gone to work school now.
Okay, maybe we are getting yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay,
cool. Sure.
Thanks. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Call it a Unilever, and they were obviously also doing what you call career advice, and they were speaking about opportunities they have within this corporate. And that was okay, great. In fact, they sowed the seed for me to want to go to university. Before then, I had never had a conversation with my parents of what's going to happen post-matriculation. So I then that evening started that conversation where I said, so I want to go to university.